Even months after launch, it's impossible to not talk about what a PR crapfest Battlefield 2042 has been. The player base, it keeps dipping at an alarming rate. It was like at 5,000 something in terms of 24-hour peak concurrent players. It's already significantly lower at less than 4,000, 3,916 24-hour peak. Meanwhile, Battlefield 5's 24-hour peak keeps climbing. It is now at 31,458, which really goes to show people are done with Battlefield 2042 and are retreating to a superior experience from the yesteryears. Battlefield 1 is also seeing pretty decent numbers for a 2016 game at almost 12,000 24-hour peak. And this is all on top of the overwhelmingly negative reviews that the game is experiencing on Steam, which is even lower now. Last time I checked, it was at 19% in terms of recent reviews, and now it's at 15%. You've got situations like game modes being removed immediately after launch because of design flaws. You've got RGB software somehow being detected as cheating by Battlefield 2042's anti-cheat, resulting in false positive bans. You've got sponsored streams made awkward by the fact that they have to manually count player kills because there's no scoreboard in the game, or streams where it ends disastrously because the game bugs out, like how in this stream a couple of players got stuck underneath the staircase here. And in my last video I showed a stream from Tom Henderson, who is an industry insider who's been reporting on a lot of what's been going on behind the scenes and who's been very outspoken against Battlefield 2042. He started up this stream after a recent patch only for the game to just crash, and if I turn on the audio, you would hear him crack up. And to make matters worse, content keeps getting delayed because developers are playing catch up on fixing the foundation of the game. So Season 1 was delayed from March to summer. And then there's the patch that's supposed to add a proper scoreboard to the game that was supposed to come out in February, but has been delayed by a month to March. And well, a disillusioned community is laughing at this situation because the alternative would be to cry at the awful state of Battlefield 2042 and the Battlefield franchise as a whole. And EA doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic about the future of Battlefield, given that Battlefield 2042 flopped hard and did not meet expectations, as they put it. But beyond that, the outlook surrounding this game, the net bookings and predictions have been lowered significantly to the point where it shows that Battlefield will no longer be a major priority. Or as Tom Henderson put it here, 2 weeks ago, I was told by an analyst that EA doesn't look at Battlefield as crucial to the company's success. Now, as if PR wasn't bad enough with how badly Battlefield 2042 is bleeding players, how much it's delayed content, how negative the reviews continue to be, with the score on Steam, for example, diminishing further and further. As if all that wasn't enough, now we're looking at a situation where PR is made worse by a petition that's recently gained a lot of traction. The petition here is from change.org, and the headline reads, "Allow refund for Battlefield 2042 on all platforms." I'd like to go ahead and read the mission statement of this particular petition. It states, EA's release of Battlefield 2042 was a mockery of every customer who purchased this video game for $70 or more, depending on which edition you got, due to EA's false advertising. Battlefield 2042 has cost customers millions of dollars in damages and upset thousands of customers worldwide. According to many customer reports, EA and DICE did not keep many promises made at launch, and Battlefield 2042 was launched as unplayable. Even today, Battlefield 2042 has bugs that drastically change the in-game experience so much that it's deemed an unfinished release by many community members. So far, no lies detected. In fact, Battlefield 2042 was so poorly made that even Steam, a highly reputable provider of PC video games, allows customers to get a full refund. So if you bought the game through, say, EA Origin, then good luck getting a refund directly from EA. Signing this petition will get you one step closer to getting a refund on Battlefield 2042. Suppose this petition receives 50,000 signatures or more. In that case, one of the best class action lawsuit lawyers in the country is willing to take our case against EA. Signing this petition is the equivalent of saying, I wish I got a refund on this game. Please sign this petition if you feel you deserve a refund for Battlefield 2042. The gaming community should not tolerate this abuse and bullying from multi-billion-dollar corporations who make unfinished unfinished games and false advertisements. Now, when this individual says that if this petition receives 50,000 signatures or more, the best class action lawsuit lawyers in the country are willing to take our case against EA. I don't know if they have like some lawyers on standby who are following this petition, or if change.org somehow, once it reaches a certain point, it draws enough attention that it paves the road for that to happen. Frankly, petitions just tend to go nowhere, so I'm not going to hold my breath that if this reaches 50,000, there's going to be this big thing that's going to happen against EA. But I will say, in recent days, this petition has been gaining quite a bit of traction. Just this morning, it was at 25,000 signatures, but then it started to gain a whole lot of traction through social media and through media coverage. Windows Central was among the first to pick up the story through an article whose headline reads, "A petition calling for EA to offer Battlefield 2042 refunds is gathering steam." Beyond that, you've got none other than industry insider Tom Henderson, who tweeted about this petition. There's now a petition from the Battlefield community to ask for refunds on Battlefield 2042. I'm really surprised this disaster hasn't been picked up by more outlets, to be honest. Though he also echoed similar sentiments as mine, expressing that he doesn't believe this petition is really going to make much of a difference. He said, "I don't think this will get people refunds, by the way, but if enough people sign, I'm sure it'll get picked up by different outlets and keep the pressure on." There's still been no apology to the community who wasted their money. Indeed, even if this petition goes nowhere in terms of forcing EA to give people refunds, it is generating a whole lot of buzz, it is drawing media attention, it is making headlines, it is applying pressure, and it is painting a further negative picture on Battlefield 2042, which this game deserves to get, given its false marketing, given its launch date, given its post-launch state, and its inability to keep up with its woes. A live service that is very clearly dying off, especially judging by how fast the player base is plummeting here and how fast the older entry Battlefield 5's player base is rising. So even if this petition doesn't end up forcing EA's hands to give out refunds, it does help drag EA and DICE and Battlefield through the mud. Basically a way to hopefully slap EA, DICE, and Battlefield in the face so that they can wake up to the fact that they cannot keep getting away with these kinds of releases. And while I'm sure the ground floor developers are doing the best they can, working under the circumstances that they're given, anything that contributes to admonishing the decision makers, the executives, the heads behind Battlefield 2042, anything that lights a fire under their feet is a win as far as I'm concerned. And not because I take pleasure in seeing people berated, but because I'm hoping that this can serve as a reality check for the folks behind this series, that they cannot continue charging full price or more for a product that literally doesn't function as intended at launch and even months after launch. It happens once, we can chalk it off as a fluke, but with EA, it happens time and time and time again. Battlefront 2, Battlefield 5, Anthem, all of these games launched incredibly roughly, support for them ended prematurely, and Battlefield 2042, it's headed down the same road, and people paid full price for this game, expecting for it to have a long lifespan, expecting it to be the apex of the Battlefield series. But instead, people got a broken and unfinished mess of a Battlefield entry that doesn't even really feel like Battlefield. It's a loss of quality, a loss of identity, and just a downgrade and loss of content and features. This is a product that definitely didn't deliver what was promised. A refund is a given. I feel like the gaming industry is the one that's most able to get away with broken launches. Like, imagine if we went to watch the new Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, and the frame rate was choppy, the audio was off sync in places, some of the special effects aren't fully implemented. You can tell it's a broken and unfinished product. Imagine the riot that there would be out there, and just how much damage control Disney and Marvel would have to do. In that situation, people would absolutely demand a refund for those tickets. If EA had any shame or regrets about any of this, they would offer a grace period where refunds will be given out with no questions asked for those who do request it, kind of like what CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk 2077 after that game's disastrous launch. But this is EA we're talking about. They'll meet the law's bare minimum requirements, and outside of that, they'll try anything and everything scummy to make sure that they can prioritize revenue and keep investors happy. Which is why even if this doesn't end up having a tangible result in terms of people getting refunds, As long as it's doing some kind of damage, as long as it's being disruptive on some level, I am happy that it exists. Scrolling down on this petition page, you'll find some comments of people explaining their reasons for signing this petition. One of the top comments reads, "This game was a scam. The game reviews done by IGN and other thing-named companies were all paid to lie that this was the best Battlefield to date." Well, to be fair, IGN gave it a 7, which is in the lower range of what they tend to give Battlefield, and critics in general gave it a lower score than usual compared to other past Battlefield entries, a 68 Metascore, which isn't great. I still think that's too high, but I do believe this Battlefield has the worst Metascore out of all Battlefield entries. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the comment continues, "The game is barely a third done being made. I paid for the most expensive version and still no roadmap for the content I paid for. The game has issues and is missing over 200 features from previous Battlefields. It's probably the worst game I've ever purchased, and I honestly can't believe Microsoft, PlayStation, and Steam even allow this atrocity onto their stores. EA DICE lied about the beta being a 3-month-old build when it was actually the game in its current state." So many people defended Battlefield 2042 during its beta because it's just a beta, wait for the final game, bro. But I don't know when some of these people will learn at this stage that a beta that happens a couple weeks before launch tends to be pretty indicative of the final product. That was the case with Anthem, with Marvel's Avengers, with Fallout 76. I don't know how many times you have to be through the cycle before shoddy betas just a few weeks before launch raises red flags for these folks. The comment concludes with, "We were lied to and scammed out of this money, and these companies should be held accountable," and other comments express similar sentiments in shorter form. EA and DICE sold us all a half-baked broken game. This is not what we expected as customers. The game's unfinished. 10-year-old Battlefield games look better. I paid for a game that doesn't work. I'm signing because the game was not what was advertised. So yeah, you get the idea. And while this petition has been up for a while, it's only recently that it's gained tens of thousands of signatures. Here's a Game Informer article published literally this morning that states Battlefield 2042 refund petition passes 25,000 signatures. A couple hours later, it's now at what? 37,282. If I refresh, it might be higher. 38,429. A number of major outlets have picked up on this story now, including Video Games Chronicle with this headline: "A Battlefield 2042 refund petition is rapidly gaining support." And this is from this afternoon, a little more recently, and by the time Video Games Chronicle checked out the petition website, it had gotten almost 30,000 signatures. Now it's almost at 40,000, and it'll easily pass 50,000 signatures. Let's see if the petition's claim that the best lawyers will get on this will hold out to be true. Again, I wouldn't hold my breath out for it, but that'd be nice if it did happen. Though America doesn't have the consumer protection laws that Europe and Australia have. Australia, I remember at one point, forced Bethesda to issue refunds for Fallout 76. In America, that was not something Bethesda had to do. Different consumer laws by country. America's isn't really the strongest. So in terms of the letter of the law in America, one of EA's obviously biggest markets, they'll probably be able to skirt away with the money that they scam people out of. Reddit also picked up on this, obviously, with somebody here posting. Tom Henderson posted a link for a refund petition. Tom Henderson, I think, especially got the ball rolling because so many community members of the Battlefield series follow Tom Henderson's coverage of 2042. Tom Henderson himself noted the speed at which this petition was accelerating in its support. 24 hours later, and this petition has gone from 3,700 signatures to over 25,000. So yeah, we'll see how this petition plays out. Again, I'm not seeing it as the be-all, end-all solution for all woes surrounding Battlefield 2042. Far from it, but it's creating some buzz, it's making some headlines, it's making life harder for EA and DICE, and hopefully giving them a lesson to stop it and get some help. And hopefully they'll get the message at this stage, at the very least, from all of this. And again, there's been some leadership shakeup, which has me a little more optimistic, with Vince Zampella being now the head of Battlefield. But you know, people are hopeful about Battlefield 2042. Look how that turned out. You just never know with EA. So I'm not gonna give myself hope and optimism that Battlefield will one day be good. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. But for now, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this Battlefield 2042 petition. What kind of effect you think it'll have in the short and long term? Do you think it'll make any kind of difference? Or are you just happy to see that at least it's drawing some more negative attention to a game that deserves that negative attention, given how cynically it was released? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.